Candace, I was looking at data. So for me, I'm always looking to see case study. What is the difference between 2024 and 2020? One of the things that we talked about on the podcast a few weeks ago, that it showed in 2016, Trump got 6% of the African American vote, and then it went to 8%, and I think he's at like 18% right now. Why do you think that is, Candace?
I've been so excited about this. I've said black men have been my pride and joy this election. We've come a very long way, me and Black America, because they were just really biting the BLM rhetoric, and the world was going to be over because of George Floyd, and they've completely flipped on this. I mean, women as well, black women are shifting as well, slower, but black men have done a complete 180, and I've been talking about it on my show. And I think it's you just can't keep running the same play before people start to look up and go, wait a second, my life was just better under Trump, right? First and foremost, I don't think black men were convinced by Kamala whatsoever. It has nothing to do with her being a woman, but she's been in office for 4 years, talking about how she's gonna fix what's been going on for the last 4 years doesn't make any sense. And for people trying to use the excuse of, oh, well, she's just the VP, tell that to Dick Cheney. You know what I mean? So I think of course, her also being the border czar, and that has been something that has been a threat to black jobs. And I really do think it just came down to, how are you living right now? They are looking at gas prices, they're looking at grocery prices, and they're realizing Trump wasn't that bad. And here's the other thing about running the same play. In 2016, there was a question mark, right? Nobody actually knew how Trump was going to be. So the media was able to use this propaganda. He's going to be just like Hitler. They're going to put you back in slave chains. You're going to be back in the South picking cotton. And he was an unknown. So it was like, well, maybe if everybody's saying it, because they were so aggressive. We actually had never seen the media line up in a way against, I don't think, in my lifetime at least, any candidate the way that they came after Trump when he was running against Hillary Clinton. I've never seen them use that intense of rhetoric, really making people think we were going to be back in slave chains. It was that ridiculous. And then he gets in office and that doesn't happen. Actually, the gas prices come down, they're living okay. And so when they did the exact same thing, when they ran that exact same play again this time, they're like, all right, man, he's already been president, so you can't tell us that he's going to do all of these things when he had the opportunity to do it and he didn't do it. So it's more of a common sense response.
I think that's exactly right, but then I think there's a next step to it, right? Which is that, look, for all you guys here who are like Trump people, okay, you're going, but if you could just imagine, say, just the average person, in 2020, Joe Biden had a reasonable sales pitch, which is that he could say, and you got a picture, the election is in November of 2020. So we just went through the year of lockdowns and the riots and all of this craziness, and that comes after the 3 years that preceded it of all the Russia hysteria and all of this. And Joe Biden could say, hey, let's go back to normal. I've been in the Senate for 700 years. And so let's just go back to normal America where things weren't this crazy. And by the way, I'm going to stay in my basement, but he at least had an excuse that it was like, well, there's a pandemic, so I'm doing the responsible thing. That was a very attractive sales pitch to a lot of people who were just, by the end of 2020, tired of all of it. But the problem is, in addition to what Candace was saying, which is absolutely right, then Joe Biden got in. And guess what? We didn't go back to normal. We went to something even crazier than the 4 Trump years were. And then that revealed that the problem wasn't Trump. This whole thing is, listen, Donald Trump is the least interesting thing about what's going on in America right now. He really is. Donald Trump, you can figure out who he is within 5 seconds of looking at him. You're like, okay, he's a self-promoter. He loves to promote himself. He always is on message. He's constantly in sales mode. What's interesting is that this country got to a point where we wanted the biggest middle finger we could find against the establishment. That's what's really interesting. And when you took Trump out, that didn't go away. And it doesn't, honestly, here's the thing that I know no one wants to hear tonight. It doesn't even really matter whether Trump wins or not. What really matters is that this movement against the corruption in Washington, D.C. continues on. That's what, it's much bigger than any one person. But to your point, they don't have that pitch anymore. What are they going to say? We're going back to normal under Kamala Harris?
Right. And I would also add, like, people really don't like celebrity endorsements anymore.
One of the best decisions I ever made in my life was joining the U.S. Army. When I served the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, the level of pride of America being the greatest country in the world went to the roof. If you are a veteran, or if you support veterans, you have family members, Veterans Day, we have brand spanking new gear for you to choose from, a whole plethora of options of what to choose from, with shirts that say we support armed veterans, I am an armed veteran, dog tags, shirts, hats, all of the different gears that we have. And for the first 250 people that place an order, you have the option of 12 to 15 brand spanking new mugs that we have. One says Angry Patriot, another one says BizDoc, another one has got the US flag, another one has PBD Podcast or Valuetainment or A Future Looks Bright. Go to vtmerch.com, place your order for Veterans Day. These things are gonna go very quickly, and you'll get a custom mug that'll be sent your way.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.